seductive. I take you to the candy shop. I let you lick the lollipop.
What's up, Nitro Gang? This is a vintage Team Losi LST2. I previously did a video on it. Check it out on my channel. Very interesting video, full of history, full of comparisons with the MGT, the Revo, the Savage. What's up, fellas? When you're a long-time member of the Nitro Gang, you wind up with a lot of broken Nitro RCs, and this Losi LST is one of his. The goal here, if you haven't already guessed, is to put this motor into this Losi. So currently, this has an HPI motor, but the problem is, it is fully seized and we're missing some components here in the back. Damn Losi, it never fails. All their hardware is SAE. So none of my metric hardware works. I can't even use these drivers. I gotta go home, can't even remove this cover over here. The Nitro Gang doesn't show up with just the LST. You know, Chris over here came with a couple classic vintage collectible Nitros because that's what the Nitro Gang does. What else is pretty cool about it? High, low range, hella crazy steering, you know, 2-speed. Well, it's the damn shocks. You guys see these shocks? This is a Savage shock. Let me put it next to the Losi shock. Do you see the difference right here? It's a damn huge bore. I don't even want to call this big bore. It's insane bore. Savage shock, Losi LST shock. Completely different. Look at that. Plushness. These wheels are from a Savage XL. Don't worry about the wheels. The wheels are no big deal. It is just so smooth. I always like to look at these old vintage electronics. Check this out, guys. Read this. Read that. It says tranny guard. If you're into the trannies, this will take care of you. I don't know if any of you out there watch the Delray Misfits, a YouTube fitness channel from Florida. Well, Big Lenny, he really needs a tranny guard, if you know what I'm saying. Go check out their channel. No, they don't know who I am. No, they don't like Nitro RC, but they're hella funny. Tranny guard. Found a really good article here. It says it is from 2005 RC Car Action magazine. Review Clash of the Titans. Top 5 trucks take to the track. Clash of the Titans. I like the way that sounds. So here we go. We have the Team Losi LST, which is the one we have in this video. Tamiya TNX. That is the newer generation of the Terra Crusher. Associated MGT 4.6. From my understanding, probably not the 21 model. The Savage 25 here. And we have the Traxxas Revo. At the time, I think the 3.3 was probably still not out. Yeah, it says 2.5R. I could see right here under this Revo logo. Okay, Team Losi is known for its impressive line of race-inspired vehicles. We all know that. Losi's a pretty high-end race brand. Blah, blah, blah. Street price, $600. Today, I'm going to continue working on this. So far, I've taken the engine out of the car. It needs to be completely replaced. It has a lot of parts missing and it is completely seized. I'm not going to go through the trouble of trying to restore it because I do not have the parts. Many of you must be asking yourself, why do I have 2 brand new engines over here? This is the Dynamite .28, pretty good engine for, you know, one like this. And then I also have a brand new Zenoah G320. Let me prove to you that it is in fact inside this box. There it is. It's a fit scale gas motor, guys. This is the same exact engine that comes in the Team Losi 5T. This is a damn beast. You think this is gonna fit? Just like, you know, how you think I'm gonna mount it? Later on in the video, I will show you guys a Team Losi LST that did in fact come with a real gas engine from the factory. Unfortunately, it was not this beautiful Zenoah, but for my purposes here, I will be putting in this Dynamite. The reason is, I like to keep things as close to stock as possible. Some people go and convert old Nitro trucks to electric. I personally don't see any benefit in doing that. If you did a cost-benefit analysis, your result would probably be 0. The only chassis that are worthwhile converting to electrics in terms of cost-benefit analysis are Nitro 8-scale buggies. They basically already have that straight hardware that you need. They use very similar mounts. Here, to make this thing a, you know, something that runs a single speed electric motor would be nearly impossible. The reason is, we got ourselves a 2-speed baby over here. You see those 2 gears? I don't know how you would even modify a motor shaft of an electric motor to accept a 2-speed clutch bell like this. Therefore, unless you're running something that's like a single speed, it really is very difficult to convert to electric. Now the t-maxx, the benefit is, yes, a lot of people convert the t-maxxes to electrics because the motor itself on the t-maxx has just one gear on the clutch bell. The 2-speed is housed internally inside the transmission. On something like this, it is a completely different design. You have to maintain this clutch bell in order for you to really get the same exact RPM out of this entire setup. Therefore, we will be going with this motor eventually. Now, for this video, I just want to point out that in part 1, I made a mistake. I called this a Losi LST. In fact, it is a LST2. One of my subscribers, Amputee RC, left me a comment and told me I made a mistake, and this in fact is a Losi LST2. Later on in the video, I'll go into a lot of in-depth information why I was wrong. A lot of times I get comments about people asking me, should I buy this nitro truck? Should I buy this vintage RC? I just want you guys to know, whenever you're dealing with older nitros, especially something like Team Losi, there will be a lot of roadblocks. And I've been keeping track of them right over here with my terrible handwriting. I actually made a list of everything that I think is bad about this so far. We'll run into some of it as we do the repairs. Let me read to you my first issue that I discovered. I put SAE, not metric hardware. So all the screw hardware on this Losi is SAE. Basically, none of your metric drivers will work. Today, almost everything is metric. We have 2mm, 3mm, 4mm screws. That's what it is. Here, none of those will work. You're gonna have to find yourself a good set. I had to go to Home Depot. Second thing, and this is gonna be a problem, we're actually gonna be soldering later on in this video. The battery over here, you guys see this battery? This is the original 6-volt pack from the receiver. It uses a JST plug. Now, modern battery packs use Futaba or JR style connectors is what they're called. So I'm gonna have to make a connector or solder something here, but we will be soldering, don't you worry about that. Now, I also noticed that the way Losi mounted this battery was right under, oh, motor fell out. They mounted it right under the hot engine over here. Obviously, as expected, this battery does not hold a charge, probably because it was exposed to extremely hot temperatures because it sits right under where the motor is supposed to be mounted. I've never seen a battery be mounted under the hot engine in any RC almost ever. Now, the last thing here is tiny screws. This thing has, let me see if I could show you guys right here, the tiniest screws I think I've ever seen. Look at these screws. These are, I don't even know, this looks smaller than 1.5mm. This is screwed into an aluminum plate, literally on the chassis. The rest of the motor screws are actually not that small. The servo mounting screws are okay, but everything here is such tiny little hardware. I'll be honest with you, if any of these strip, you will have to Dremel them out. I've ran into the tiny screw problem on other Losis. You know which one? This one right here. The Losi XXXNT. This is the one I cooked an egg in the cooling head. This also has a tiny screw problem. Everything is freaking tiny. Eventually you just convert to your own screws that are metric size. You're gonna run into a lot of roadblocks just because the way things were done years ago are no longer how they're done. No one uses tiny screws on 8-scale trucks. It just does not happen. Also, one of my friends pointed out, is this video gonna have some RC magazine in it? Well, here's your RC magazine, my dude. The brand new issue of RC Car Action magazine features a DeLorean. I really like the cover, it's kind of cool actually. And I will be doing a full Nitrogang review on this. If I do not find a single gas or nitro RC in this entire magazine, I will burn it with nitro fuel. They call this the retro special issue. Maybe there will be some kind of vintage Kyosho. Probably gonna be a load of old Tamiyas with weird looking knobby wheels. But that doesn't matter. Let's move on to figuring out the electronics in here. I am going to solder a connector for another battery pack and then we'll go from there. The main problem is, notice these two 6-volt packs have different connectors. Now this is called a JST connector, just has a negative and a positive terminal. The same thing with a negative and a positive with the new battery, but the problem is this is called a Futaba style connector, sometimes also referred to as a JR plug. The problem with this connector is it will not fit into the included power switch on the Losi LST. Here is the connector itself. Unfortunately, this shrink wrap, I think I might put it on later. I'm not sure if it will fit or not. So now the goal here is to stick this new Futaba style connector into here, right? It easily goes in. And we have ourselves the JST plug, which will go into the Losi LST. We'll have absolutely no problems. This electrical tape, unfortunately, it is very, very old, so that's why it's not adhering that well to the wires. I can assure you when this stuff was new, it was ideal. Now, our connection will be fully sealed. I might apply another layer later, but you really don't need anything. This is good for sealing and protecting electrical connections. I'll put a link for this product in the Amazon store in the description to this video. Pick this up, guys. You really don't even need to use heat shrink tubing when you're using this kind of product. Of course, mine is old. I've had it for over, I think, 3 years at this point, and I use it very sparsely, but I do need to replace it myself. Otherwise, this connection is perfect. They started out with the Losi Super Truck, the LST, the original one, 2004. This is the one that I thought it was originally. Keep in mind, I did not have the body, did not have the wheels, did not have the motor. So you're going to have to forgive me for making a slight mistake. Now, the LST2 is really the one that we have. This only came out 1 year later, released in 2005. Basically just different wheels, different body. But there are a couple of other main differences. So our truck, I should have recognized, looking at the pipe, I do have this inscription on our pipe. That would have been a good sign. But of course, you never know whether you can trust, what an RC is just by the pipe alone. If I look at the original LST from the top-down view, there's nothing written on the tuned pipe here. Okay, so we're already moving in the positive direction. The last variation of the LST was this LST XXL2. Came out in 2014, so not that long ago. 0.31 cubic inch engine. This was a gas model, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this was definitely a gas model. I could see the spark plug right here. Very cool. These are super rare trucks. Now, if you guys don't know, there's a Savage Octane, which is a gas-powered RC, 15cc. There's also this one, which is a gas-powered RC. You could tell by the fuel tank, the spark plug, that gives it away. Pretty cool. If I ever get the ability to get one of these, I will jump on it. Count me in on that. Let's go to the original Team Losi website here. This is the original LST, the one that I thought it was, but this is not the one we have. So let's just go to the LST2 listing as it is on the website. Yeah, they make up a lot of these prices. These things did not sell for, $1,000. This is just crazy. But the main difference in the one that I thought we had and the one we do have, I'm going to go through these pictures with you guys. Losi LST2. We got can't tell nothing really here. This is just a standard action picture. Okay, the shocks. The one that we have has threaded body shocks. The original LST did not. My model has this metal diff housing. Very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen any other Nitro monster truck with an aluminum diff housing, front and rear. Very nice. There's some other variations here. And of course, the engine is different. It's a Mach 427. But we don't have the original engine, so we're not even going to talk about that. But take a look at this. They say bulletproof aluminum front and rear differential cases. Very interesting. Exactly the kind of stuff I like. Mega shocks with threaded anodized bodies. Exactly what our RC has. If we go back to the original LST, they don't make any mention of threaded body shocks here. or anything else. Let's look at the pictures. Maybe we can run across the same exact pictures with the shocks. We can tell whether they're threaded or not. Okay, from this picture, I could see these are preloads on the shocks. They're not threaded. You could tell the diff housing is not aluminum. This is the original LST. Unless you're like a nitro guru expert, like some people making this video, you know, you wouldn't know. All right, let's go back to the truck, figure out the electronic situation. This is future me. It's about 2 days after I made that original soldering clip, and then I realized, you know what? Why don't I just buy some new switches? So first, let me just show you guys the radio system works. Look at that steering. Everything is on point. Look at that throttle servo. Everything works. Look at that third channel reverse. Okay, so basically, you know, sometimes things don't go as planned. I decided to kind of just get another power switch. Look how easy and simple this install was. This is just a basic switch. Let me show you guys the ones I used. From Amazon, I bought a pack of 3 basic power switches like this with modern connectors. So 3 of them were like $9. I figured, listen, I'm not gonna return this to, you know, the LST King Chris with like a soldered adapter there. Now, the thing looks pretty clean. I'm still using the original factory wire routing mechanism, and the battery is now, you know, right back under the motor as it belongs. You see, guys? Brand new battery. It'll last a while. The steering is fine. Absolutely no issues. Everything is still fully serviceable inside this radio box. I just have to get an antenna tube here. And by the way, this power switch is kind of like the Traxxas ones, where you have a third lead that you could do a charge. So if you wanted to charge it without disconnecting this, you can. Although I don't know why you wouldn't. This is actually very easy to access. This is the direct connector straight for the battery. The future me here learned a thing or two. You want to do things right the first way. I kind of just honestly wanted to see if I could solder a connection and make it work. It worked, but then I changed my mind, got myself some new connectors over here because, you know, we don't want to have the power switch here embarrass us.
Are you ready? Hey, think you can tell us what to do? Think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Break it down!
Good news, everything is functional. I think I'm gonna have to cut this video here. It's already getting a little bit long. I want to enjoy my fresh brown rice. I put some ketchup on this. Guys, just please don't tell Zenoah about what I'm doing here. I don't think putting ketchup on brown rice is something that will go over well with a Japanese engine manufacturer. You know, I'm just saying. You know, this ain't no sushi. This is rice, but, you know, it's also ketchup, kind of American. And, well, you know, it is what it is. This is terrible. Think about the fiber. Just think about the fiber. Thanks so much for watching. More on this LST soon. Next video you see, this motor is going inside that. Later. Nitro.
So fine, but her breath is like ooh. She say she wanna dance, but she don't know how to. Ooh. I'm iced out, ooh, looking like a star.